How did things go so wrong? How did that happen? Morbius. I mean, Morbius did not do well. And Variety was not afraid to go and talk about the fact of what the film's so debut means for the Marvel characters in the Sony universe, which includes Venom, which did pretty well, as a matter of fact. But let's go into the story from Rebecca Rubin at Variety.com. Here on One of My Podcasting. Are comic book movies bulletproof at the box office? Well, it did pull in $39.1 million over the weekend with horrible reviews. 16% on Rotten Tomatoes as I record right now. Horrible. So here's what you look at. This was a $75 million budgeted movie from Sony's Universal Marvel characters. Now, Venom in 2018 debuted at $80 million. The sequel, $90 million. So Sony wanted to try to spin some of Spider-Man's adversaries. And they tried, and Morbius just did horrible. And I didn't even look at what they did in terms of the full number, but I know it was around like 67% for the audience. Not good. Paul DeBarabedian at ComScore said, quote, sometimes there's a disconnect between the critical consensus and the sentiment of the fandom base for whom Morbius was still a must-see movie-going event. So they said that Morbius, it's a sign that superheroes can galvanize ticket buyers in ways that few other genres can, an indication that not every Marvel character has blockbuster potential. But look, what you have to understand first, and I'm going to make this point across before anything, is the fact that Morbius, it wasn't so much that the movie it couldn't have been good, that the character's not a really cool character, this vampire type character. It's the fact that the story was told badly. What they did was they rushed the origin story, they rushed the story with his friend, and they rushed everything. This was a movie that actually needed more time to get through what it had. But it was such a bad move that they did this here, and the movie just suffered as a result, and it just did not do well. And so you look at this, the director was Daniel Espinosa, and the fact this was a Spider-Man character, like based off of Spider-Man comics, but not in the Spider-Man universe here as a villain, it only got $84 million globally. It's not bad, but it's not good. And people really started going ahead and getting really pissed. And Marvel Mania, they've been hitting a lot of things good. This, much like Eternals, was a bump in the road. Not a good thing to go and see right now. And by the way, there's still, some things where you might have more of an adult component because the movie was PG-13 instead of rated R, things like that. But the Spider-Man universe, according to this story, it says they need quality control. And so what they're talking about is Sony has to eventually churn out a decent solo superhero adventure to avoid alienating fans. That's not Spider-Man. So far, they've had duds. The highest Rotten Tomatoes grade was for Venom Let There Be Carnage, 56%, according to the critics in Rotten Tomatoes. The Disney MCU films get 84% aggregate scores on Rotten Tomatoes. So at the moment of the Sony Universal Marvel characters developing a standalone series on Kraven the Hunter, starring Aaron Taylor Johnson and Madam Web, featuring Dakota Johnson. And to keep people coming back to theaters, they need to be watchable. They actually have to be watchable. So other movies in the works are not necessarily be able to have the reliability of Spider-Man and his compatriots, even though superheroes are considered to be untouchable. Like any superhero movie you're putting out there, it's going to make money, which is what Morbius did, but not even close to what it should have been. The movie should have gotten double what it got, but it was already getting panned beforehand. It was delayed. There was a lot of reasons why. And to push it in April, that's not good. If this was bad, you need to push it in January, February, which all movies that are barely watchable go to be played. So to push this back as they did was a mistake. They shouldn't have done that in the first place. And that's where we're at now. It's the second comic book movie to open in 2022, following The Batman, which has already earned $350 million domestically, $700 million globally. It's blowing out the water. Now you got other movies that are coming up, superhero-wise. Disney's Marvel series, the Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness is May 6th. Thor: Love and Thunder, July 8th. Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, November 11th. And then Warner Brothers adaptations of Black Adam is October 21st. December 16th for Shazam: Fury of the Gods. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, October 7th. They can't do what Morbius did. They're not allowed to have that happen. We'll leave it there, and I'll talk to you next time.